So then it is game week 46 in the Football League season. It is coming to a climax in the Championship, League One and League Two. And there is still so much to play for. I'm going to try and predict every promotion, relegation and which teams are going to be in the playoffs come the end of this weekend. Guys, feel free to give it a go yourselves down in the comments. Let me know as well if you support one of these teams. Don't get too upset with my predictions. It is just a bit of fun. Make sure to drop a like if you haven't already. Let's go for 2,000. It costs nothing. And make sure to subscribe as well, as we will be doing predictions for the Championship, League One and League Two playoffs with my sister Sophie and Benjamin Bloom. Look out for that. Let's get into this then, and let's start at the bottom of League Two. Which two teams are going down? In my opinion, League Two is shaping up to be the best on the final day out of all of these leagues, as there's still so much to play for. We have 5 teams still not knowing if they're going to be in the bottom 2 or not come the end of the season. We've got the fixtures at the bottom here, so let's try and work this out. Let's start with Barrow. Now, if Barrow survive, I will be astonished. It would be like when Bristol Rovers won 7-0 to get promoted. For Barrow to survive, they have to win, let's say, 4-0 to first of all get past Harrogate. Harrogate would have to lose, and then Crawley would have to lose 4-0 as well. So it's just not going to happen. Barrow could end on the same amount of points as the team in 22nd, but the goal difference is surely not going to swing. They take on Newport, another team in this battle, but of course Newport can't be caught by Barrow. Newport could still be caught by the 2 teams directly below them. Look how close this is. Crawley take on Salford, who are still going for the top 3 and automatic promotion. Harrogate take on Barnet, who can't make the playoffs but are in very good form. And then Tranmere take on Grimsby. Tranmere are not in great form, and Grimsby are already confirmed in the playoffs and have been in very good form lately. Let's try and make some sense out of this. I think Barrow, regardless of their result, are going to go down. Newport could be okay with a draw at Barrow. If they lose, they're in danger of being overtaken by 2 teams. I am worried for Crawley, I must say, playing Salford, who've got so much to play for, and they're literally above Harrogate on goal difference. Harrogate do have a difficult game, as I said, but I fancy them to maybe get a draw. Could I see Crawley maybe getting a draw off Salford? Possibly, but then that starts to suck in Newport and maybe Tranmere. I think Tranmere will be okay just because of the traffic below them. It would be astonishing, wouldn't it, if Tranmere dropped 3 places in the space of 90 minutes, but it could happen. Here's my prediction. I reckon Barrow go down, and I'm still going to go with Harrogate. I'm sorry, Harrogate. Back-to-back wins for you, boys. Have you timed it too late? If you win this weekend, I think that's going to be enough to keep you up. But I have a feeling you might only get a draw, and that might not be enough. So that's my bottom 2. I did do a prediction a few weeks ago where I did have Barrow and Harrogate to go down. Barrow, I do feel confident are going to go now. Harrogate, I'm not sure about, but let me know if you disagree. Let's move on to the League Two promotion race, and this is really fascinating because we've got 3 teams going for 3rd place to join MK Dons and Bromley in being promoted to League One, and then the playoff race is wide open. Now, if you were not following League Two and you didn't know the fixtures, you might look at the table and think, oh, Barnet, they could still make it. A 3-point gap and a better goal difference than 7th place Chesterfield. But I just need to quickly outline they cannot make it because Chesterfield play Swindon. So someone there is going to score points, which means Barnet can only get as far as 8th if they win their game. The same applies for Grimsby being confirmed in the playoffs. Yes, they're only 2 points ahead of Swindon, but Swindon and Chesterfield cannot both win. So Grimsby are locked on to finish in the playoffs, the only team to be confirmed as just being in the playoffs at the moment. As far as the top 3 race goes, you've got to make Cambridge the favourites given the extra point, the goal difference as well, and the fixture. Crewe, nothing to play for, although Crewe are a top half League Two team that maybe could just take a draw out of Cambridge, and that might be enough to see Salford overtake them. If Cambridge lose, then Notts County are still in this, but Notts County take on Bristol Rovers, and Steve Evans, by the way, as well as transforming his body, he's transformed Bristol Rovers. He's done so well over the last year, hasn't he? So I suspect Notts County are going to end up in the playoffs. I think I'm going to go with Cambridge. They are my favourites to get the job done here, but I tell you what, if they don't win, I could see Salford jumping in there. Let's talk about 7th place, where it is literally a shootout down at the county ground between Swindon and Chesterfield. Chesterfield are in better form. I think at the start of the season I had them to finish in my top 3. Swindon I've liked, but they've just dropped out of the top 7. But, you know, if they win this, they're in there. They did beat them, of course, earlier this season, but does that matter now? I don't know. They do have home advantage. I might go with a last-minute overtake from Swindon, and this is what I'm going to go with. Chesterfield fans, before you say anything, I'm happy to be proven wrong. I just have a gut feeling Swindon might nick that one. Let me know your thoughts down below. Right, let's move on to the League One relegation battle, where it is literally a shootout between 2 teams, Leyton Orient and Exeter City. Of course, the bottom 3 have already gone down. I do need to give Port Vale some credit. If there was a few more games left this season, they might have got out of it. They've started to find some form. For Exeter, they take on Bradford, who we're going to come on to in a minute, who have a lot to play for themselves. Leyton Orient take on Burton, and Burton are already safe. So when it comes to the opponent, I think I know who I'd rather play. But Leyton Orient are not in good form. I do not trust them to win that game. They've been losing quite a lot recently. There's no goals going in. They even lost at home to relegated Rotherham a week ago. So I don't think Leyton Orient win. The question is, do Exeter win? Now, Exeter have not been winning many games recently. They did get that one win a couple of weeks ago, didn't they? But they've been drawing a lot. But they have been drawing to good teams, Stockport and Plymouth. And if they win this, and Leyton Orient even just draw, Exeter have the better goal difference. It's difficult though, isn't it? Exeter are playing a Bradford team that have got something to play for as well. I think this could go to the final few minutes of the season. I am going to go, and if you've already seen my League One predictions video from this week, you will know where I'm going with this. I think I'm going to go for a shock here. Exeter are going to jump out on the final day. I don't want to go with shocks in every prediction, but they do happen from time to time. And I'm going to go with Leyton Orient to plunge in on 51 or 52 points. Once again, I'm happy to be proven wrong, but that's where I'm going with this one. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Right, let's move on to the League One promotion race. The top 2, of course, Lincoln and Cardiff, already promoted. They've done very well. Bolton have secured a place in the playoffs, but no one else has yet. Not even Stockport, who've just lost at home to Port Vale. Let's go through this from the top to the bottom. I think Stockport, regardless of their result, will finish in the playoffs. For Stockport to come out of the playoffs, they need a string of 4 things to happen. They would have to lose, Bradford would have to get something, Stevenage would have to win, and Luton would have to win. It just feels like too much is going to have to happen for Stockport to miss out. So regardless of their result, I think they're going to make it. I do think they'll get something at Barnsley though. Bolton v Luton. Now, you could say, if you're a Luton fan, you're playing a Bolton team that have got nothing to play for now, but Bolton will still want to finish 3rd or 4th and secure a home tie for the second leg of the playoffs. And they're going to want to, you know, keep some form of momentum going heading into the playoffs, even though Bolton have not been in great form. Luton have been in great form, though. I just think with it being at Bolton, they might cancel each other out, though. I would not be surprised, though, if we get a late Luton goal to win it. Obviously, Luton need someone to slip up in front of them. Will that be Bradford? I'm going to say a similar thing for Bradford as for what I just said about Stockport, where I don't think they're going to come out regardless of their result. Because if we look outside the playoffs, it's only Luton that can knock these teams out, Bradford and Stockport. Plymouth can only catch as far as Stevenage. So I've gone with Exeter to win a minute ago in the prediction, but I'm still going to have Bradford to make the playoffs. Northampton v Plymouth, it feels like a tap-in. Plymouth are going to win that game. I just cannot see them not winning that one. I'm happy to be proven wrong, Northampton fans, but you've got nothing to play for. Plymouth have everything to play for, but it's not in Plymouth's hands. Stevenage are at home to Wigan. Wigan are safe, and they just lost 1-0 to Wimbledon at home last time. It feels like it should be a 1-0 Stevenage job, but I wonder if one of those teams in the playoffs are going to slip up and let someone else in. I think it could be Stevenage. I think they could draw, and that might just be enough for Plymouth to get through. I'm going to go with Bolton, Stockport, Bradford, and Plymouth. I'm going to have a little bit of fun with that last one there. And if Plymouth make the playoffs with the form they've been in, they could be a nightmare for anyone. Let me know your thoughts down below. In my head, I do think Stevenage should get the job done, but I don't know. I'll go with my heart on that one. When it comes to the Championship relegation, there is nothing to discuss. Let's quickly have a look at it. Sheffield Wednesday, -3 points. They take on West Brom in their final game of the season. Can they make it to 0 points? I hope they can, but it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. Leicester City, of course, 23rd, relegated 2 weeks ago now. Now, if they hadn't have had that 6 points deduction, they would still be in contention of getting out of this on the final day. And they take on Blackburn on the final day. So what a game that would have been, especially with West Brom sandwiched in between them. Leicester would have had a real chance of getting out of this. They'd be on 49 points and have a better goal difference than Blackburn. If they would have beaten them, they would have stayed up. But it is interesting looking at it and knowing that even if Leicester had those points back, they'd still be in the bottom 3 right now. And Oxford, 1 point short of taking this to the final day. Bit frustrating, isn't it? But we will see if they bounce back next season. Let's move on to the Championship promotion race, where we now have a bit of clarity on what is going on the final day after Tuesday night's result. Now, myself and Sophie did do predictions for the final week of the Championship on Tuesday around lunchtime, and we both said that Southampton versus Ipswich would be a draw. And we were right. And that means Southampton are going to be in the playoffs no matter what. They are the only team in this picture right now which is confirmed of being in the playoffs and not being in anything else, if that makes sense. The 3 teams below them are fighting for the final playoff place. The 3 teams in front of them are fighting for the final automatic place. Let's start with the playoff race. Derby just have to beat Sheffield United, and I think they will. But they require quite a few things to go their way for them to get in. But a bit like with Plymouth a minute ago, it could happen. Hull City, I worry for them. Their form has not been good, and they take on a Norwich team that have been very good lately, despite having nothing to play for. So I struggle to see the Hull win, but on the final day, anything could happen. So it could happen. We could get the Hull win. But ultimately, it might not be enough because it's Wrexham who occupy 6th. But I tell you what, this could come down to goal difference or goals scored. When it comes to goal difference, Wrexham are 1 better than Hull. When it comes to goals scored, Hull are better than Wrexham. So, oh God, it could be very close. Wrexham take on Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough are still in contention for the top 2. We'll come to Middlesbrough in a minute though, because it's a very slim chance for Middlesbrough to make it. I am going to be a bit more boring with this one and say it's Wrexham, who are currently in there, that I expect to finish there. But look, if they draw, I suspect someone will go in front of them. So Wrexham have to win. Let's look at the top 2 race. Ipswich nearly promoted after that draw against Southampton. Can I just say, by the way, what a game that was. It was absolutely brilliant. For 2 teams that had obviously a lot of expectations around them at the start of this season and started slowly, they put on a right treat for us, didn't they? And they both went for it. Southampton needed to win to take the top 2 to the final day for them. Ipswich with a win would have been confirmed promoted pretty much on the Tuesday, except for, goal difference, which won't swing. What a great game it was regardless. You've got to fancy Ipswich to beat QPR. You absolutely have to. QPR have got nothing to play for. But final day, 1 game of football. Could we get something you wouldn't expect? Maybe. I don't think, and I could be left with egg on my face, I really don't think QPR win. And that's probably the only way Middlesbrough would get in there. Otherwise, if it's a draw for Ipswich, Middlesbrough have to win by 6 goals at Wrexham. That's not going to happen. So I don't see Middlesbrough getting in there. But if it is a draw for Ipswich, I suspect Millwall will beat relegated Oxford at home. And that's the only way I could see it being anyone other than Ipswich right now. I'm happy to see Middlesbrough make it once again, but this is just where I'm at right now. But I do think Ipswich will make it. So this is what I'm going with. Ipswich are going to be promoted with Coventry. Ipswich will get to 84 points, in my opinion. And I think the playoff picture will look pretty similar to how it is right now. I suspect we might get Middlesbrough versus Southampton in the semi-finals, and then Millwall versus Wrexham, which should be good fun. We've seen Millwall and Wrexham both beating each other at each other's grounds, and Southampton, I mean, when they lost to Middlesbrough 4-0 a few months ago, they were not in great form then, were they? But I don't know. Let's see. When it comes to the prediction for the playoffs, we will leave that till next week. Guys, let me know your thoughts down below. Really, really fascinating, isn't it? You've got to love the final day of the Football League season, and especially this year with so much to play for. Let me know your predictions. Let me know if you've enjoyed the video, if you've agreed or disagreed. Either way, feel free to drop a like and hit the subscribe button. I'll see you next time for more. Take care. Peace out.